So, Dad,
Yeah,
tell me the story, the Army story.
the average. Well, I have a lot of Army stories,
Right,
war stories we call them.
right.
The one you want retold uh, occurred in Germany in 1955. I was there as a kind of a spy along the border, and we were in a little town called Altefeld, and it was attached to the big garrison at Bamberg in Germany. And this happened on a day when I was coming back from a big dance, a ball actually, with a girlfriend, Anna Marie, in the town of Bad Hersfeld. And I was there with my buddy Chuck Carey, and the two of us had a great time drinking, as we did at that time. And we drove back about 2 o'clock in the morning to our place in Altefeld. I was pretty nervous because that afternoon I was due to go to Bamberg. I had to leave there actually as soon as we got back to Altefeld to receive a good conduct medal and a service medal at a parade they were having for me, which makes no sense whatsoever. I was a lousy soldier, but I guess the guys in Bamberg were even worse than I was, so they reached out and had me come in so they could have an enlisted man to whom they can give these presents. So anyway, on the way there, Chuck had passed out completely in the back seat of my VW, and I was kind of sleepy and kind of drunk.
Right.
And we drove slowly because I was trying to take it easy, and suddenly I was awakened by an incredible noise. And the noise was the car, my VW, going up the stairs of a house which was on a curve in this very small Dorf, a little town. And the side of my car tore a hole in the wall of the house, and the car itself was pretty beat up. And it was actually at that time it was about 5 o'clock in the morning because the town was just awake. And they had cows and they were all getting up and all the lights were turning on. And a whole bunch of people rushed out to see what was going on. And of course, they weren't so crazy about the Americans at that time because, and particularly in the small areas, we were kind of the occupiers. And they immediately challenged me and said, screaming at me in German, and said, "You've got to take care of this. You've got to take care of this." And I said, "I can't. I have to go back." And unfortunately, I'd broken the axle on the front axle on the car, but it was still maneuverable. And much to their fury, I took off and left them, and they didn't understand my English, and my German wasn't good enough at the time. I did say I would be back, and I took off and went back to Altefeld, and got dressed, drove down to Bamberg with somebody else, drove me down there, and went through the parade. And the whole time, of course, I was thinking, here I'm probably a felon in Germany. They're going to be after me. Well, sure enough, I got my medals, my little ribbons pinned on me. Got back to Altefeld and was told the MPs had been there looking for me. I wanted to try to do something to stave off serious trouble, so another guy drove me down to the little Dorf where I'd had this accident, and it happened to be that the place that I'd hit was the mayor's home. And that was not good either. But I talked to them, I sued them, I said, "I will pay you, whatever you want right now. You just tell me how much you want and I'll pay you, and I'm terribly sorry." And this is in my broken German. And he accepted it. He accepted, I think it was 50 marks. At that time, the exchange was 4 marks for a dollar. So it was about $12.50. The MPs later came, talked to me, and I said, "Everything is okay. It's all sorted out. I had an accident, and I had to go down to Bamberg." I then had to have my car repaired. And the other good thing about this time in German history, I had my car repaired, and it cost me about 60 marks, about $15 to put in a new axle at that time.
Wow.
Anyway, that's the tale, and I have the medals still. and fond memories.
It's a great story.
It's unusual.